Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion here. We are going to talk about Octopus Network and how Octopus Network is like a commercial real estate developer for Web3 projects. Now, what does this whole thing mean? Why are you comparing it to a real estate developer when Octopus is a Web3 multi-chain? Well, just bear with me here. I'm actually going to use an illustration as a metaphor and analogy so that you can appreciate more what Octopus can do for your project. Because a lot of founders and developers have their own visions of their projects, a vision of a product or service that can change people's lives for the better. These are the inclinations of the founders. And what can you do? Well, let's try to illustrate this from a traditional brick and mortar business. If you have a company, you have to have an office, essentially. Well, not all companies or businesses require a physical office. Some of them are just virtual and online. But let's say that you need a physical office for you to start your business and to launch your project or a company, be it a tech startup. But there are mainly two ways for you to be able to acquire an office. Number one is to build your own office from scratch. That's the first path. Number two is to hire a provider, something that has already done providing an office to other tenants. But let's discuss these two first before we can highlight what Octopus Network can do for you. So going back to the first part, that is building your own office from scratch. What does it involve? Well, if you were to build your own office, you have to, for instance, consult the zoning department of a city and perhaps consult with people there, with the minister, as to where you can put your office that is designated for your industry. Because we know that the city's zoning involves planning where within the city's area to put residential buildings, commercial buildings, and even industrial buildings. So you have to find that out. And that takes a lot of time, I suppose, especially if you're living in some developing or third world country. But again, let's assume that you're living in a first world country that is highly industrialized. Okay, so you go to zoning, and then after you have determined which area you would like to build your office on, then of course you can acquire the land, be it you want to lease it or rent it out. I mean, like rent it long term, or you want to buy or purchase the whole property. And usually the process of buying a property requires some time, especially if it's not a residential one. You would like to consult with some brokers and negotiate with the owner as to the price, and hiring a financial institution for you to acquire some loans or some escrow, and voila, probably you can already acquire your piece of property for you to build your office building on. Now, even after you have acquired your land, you still need to consult an architect or a contractor for them to build your office facility. And that requires a lot of time and hassle and negotiation, perhaps as to the payment method, the quote, as to the furniture, and so on and so forth. Once again, that requires some time, resources, energy, and even some headaches sometimes. Even if after you have built your facility, you can still need to hire an interior designer for it to discuss or determine what kind of furnitures or fixtures or any other things that you need for your office to be optimally operating. So those two things: zoning, land acquisition, hiring a contractor, and interior designer. These all takes time, money, hassle, and sometimes headache. That's the first step. Second step is, voila, to hire a provider. And what do we mean by that? Well, a provider could be a commercial real estate developer, specifically building towers to rent and to service other businesses. And for instance, this provider is a developer with different towers in strategic locations in the city where there's high traffic and it's really popular. And they even host different tenants of different industries, from accounting to law firms, from restaurant, office to even like real estate providers, law offices, and so on and so forth, different industries. And they can provide you with customization for your office. They can ask you about how big the area that you need, the desks, how many desks does your team need? Do you need to install CCTVs, and what angles? Do you need any conference room, or even a jacuzzi if you want to? But of course, a jacuzzi could be a little bit far-fetched, but you know what I mean. You name it, they have it. Okay, so which would you rather choose? Would you rather build your own office as a company to launch your project and go through the hassle? Or would you rather hire a provider so as to be able to receive all the amenities and customizations that it provides? Which one would you choose? I personally, if I was a founder myself, I'd probably choose the latter, hire a provider. And that's what Octopus actually offers. Octopus Network is such a very hassle-free way of launching your own blockchain, because if you want to build your own blockchain, it takes several months, if not a year or more, to launch your network. And it may require millions, if not tens of millions of dollars for you to launch your project. You can even need to hire developers, or if you need to fork later on what are you going to do, especially when your community is already attached to the former network program, if that makes sense. And so all these considerations need to be weighed for you to be able to decide. That's just building your own blockchain. That's how hassle-full it can become. Building with Octopus, on the other hand, can be very stress-free, so that you can just focus on your vision as a company founder. Okay, Octopus Network is essentially a multi-chain interoperable crypto network designed to help blockchain projects launch their own projects. And there are consultants within Octopus Network. Aaron Ting, personally, I know, and even Sheldon Deere, the tech lead of Octopus Network. They can consult with you on such aspects of your business as governance structure, economic design, consensus algorithm, and so on and so forth. And you can even avail of the ancillary benefits of building an Octopus by having an Explorer, for example, and out-of-the-box security and ready-to-engage community. So all these things can be yours if you build with Octopus Network, pretty much like that, hiring a provider so that you can just focus on your mission in changing the world. Yes, the world needs your project to benefit them and to change it for the better. And with Octopus Network, you can see your vision materialized in no time. So thank you very much. I hope that I have enlightened you as to why I compare Octopus Network to a commercial real estate developer to support Web3 projects, not just having a physical office, but at the same time, having that virtual office where you can launch your project in the metaverse, so to speak. Follow us on Opt.network as a website. Follow us on our social platforms, and you can reach out to us if you would like to work with us when it comes to launching your projects. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.